Well, this was after that, so it would be I would have at least consulted you. Like, hey, do you want me to ask other people?
Well, don't get
the way I
signed.
was picturing it at this moment was
don't get a contract signed, but yeah, if you just find out, seems fair. Seems like a good idea.
You find a couple of groups in that case. I mean, your quoted rates, like, you have to pay us X amount per man per day of travel to this destination, and then once we're there, we'll, of course, raise the place down to the ground, whatever you need, for our share of the plunder, by which they mean whatever they can take. And then whatever's left will be yours, because apparently what you want is the land. However, you get the sense, talking to these groups, that the serpents are better than a lot of these groups. And one of the reasons you think that is because a lot of these little ragtag guys... the reason they're this far out on the fringes is because this is the only work they can do. The serpents are more accustomed to doing work back in areas that they're no longer able to take because of what happened with the Eudachs.
Well, they haven't seen Eldove's fireballs.
Actually, I think they might have.
A couple of them saw them.
Oh, yeah, during the Hill Giants, that's right.
So, what you, like, it's true that the daughter is asking a lot, but you're asking them to march a long distance to fight a battle they don't know they can win. And they're negotiating for a specific price of the plunder instead of just whatever my girls can keep.
When Tarin's talked to these people before, he didn't see any magic items on them at all. Like
Not in the pavilion, no. And the one weapon that you took from a serpent was not magical when Khalil found it. He enchanted it later.
Alright. Then the way I'm seeing this is... What did we offer to pay them besides the 50%?
600.
Yeah, 600 gold for the whole company to march there, do the job, and then they want half the plunder and they want the girls.
I mean, the one point of leverage you might have is that this would allow them to get more work back where they're more comfortable.
Well, the other problem is that we're giving them a second benefit as well. We're allowing them to take the freed slaves from the village to raise as their own.
I have a feeling that's going to be in almost any contract you get into with these women.
That's the thing, is, like, that's another benefit they're getting.
Yes. Well, they're getting a lot of benefits. They're routing one of their major competitors. They're getting back in the territory to get more lucrative jobs for themselves. This is a sweet deal for them, provided they survive it.
Yeah, the only downside is annihilation.
What if we do this, Eldove? What if we say 600 up front, half of the plunder up to an additional 600?
That seems reasonable. But, what I'm actually going to say, because as far as I'm aware, Zook isn't there, is...
Sorry.
Like, this is just part of the bargaining process. Okay. I'm going to mention that a lot of what we're doing is more like a partnership between the two of us as well. Because they're getting a lot of things done that they wish to have done, and we're providing help for them to do it.
She says, yes, that's why I'm giving you a discounted price.
A discount off of what? Have you attacked a lot of villages in your time?
No, and do you know why?
Because no one can afford the price?
Because it's dangerous. If you're asking me to march my warriors into this village and take it from the Silver Eye, I'm going to tell you right now that is impossible. We can't match them. They outnumber us greatly. One of their companies outmatches us greatly. There are 3 in control of that village.
In that case, what do you feel that you can provide for us that makes you worth half of what we take from there, in addition to additional money?
Because I was assured by your captain that he and you and your priests could deal with the magic users, while we engaged the foot soldiers in the field.
Do you think that, engaging with the foot soldiers in the field is half as dangerous as dealing with the magic users?
I do. I feel as though if my warriors were to provide enough of a distraction to cut off their backup, and you were to take care of their leaders who wield magic, the Silver Eye may crumble from within. We wouldn't have to kill them all in the field, they would scatter.
Would you consider that a benefit to your work elsewhere, if the Silver Eye were to be defeated?
Absolutely.
Then why don't we go into this more as a partnership? Instead of the upfront gold, we stick to the 50% of the loot.
Because I don't make partnerships. Partnerships are dangerous. I like to keep things very simple.
It would be as simple as what the deal you're offering right now.
I like the deal I'm offering right now. Shall we accept it? She says, understand. Somebody got yelled at. Who got yelled at? Just admit it. We won't be mad. We just want to know who to laugh at. She says, you're buying the lives of some of the finest women I've ever fought with. They'll pay a price in blood. Do you understand
Sorry,
the
I'm busy
gravity?
getting yelled at.
Oh. She says, we'll be paying a price in blood. Do you understand the gravity of what it is you ask? There will be turmoil in the desert as many companies scrabble to fill the role that the Silver Eye once filled. She says, there will be consequences that nobody can guess at. Not just for the Eudachs, but for the merchants that travel the lands. For the packs of gnolls that will no longer be pushed back.
It seems to me that a mercenary company involved in that would be in a unique position to gain advantage from this turmoil.
She nods, and she looks over at Amina and says, my second advised me as such last night. I'm sorry, no, this morning. She says, I've been advised that if the village is left standing and the slaves are left in place to work the land, that whoever takes control of the village, presumably Captain Tarin here, will need protection from a company such as mine. Is that correct?
Tarin will nod and kind of shoot Eldove a quick mind like, oh, that, yeah, right, that's the one I put Zook in contact with.
The daughter nods and she says, instead of paying a price, instead of contracting us to fight your battles for you, you call it a partnership. That's fair enough. See that someone is in control of the plantation, someone to work the land, to carry on as it always has been, and I'll negotiate my price to protect those people with my lives, with the lives of my company, as I did before.
No, one change. You protect the lives of every person on that plantation, not just the owners.
She nods in agreement. She says, would that I had the courage to make that alteration the first time around. She says, even given that, our services still will not be free. She says, I'm willing to waive our claim to the plunder, because that plunder should come under the control of the new masters. She says, I'm willing to waive the acceptance of the girl children into my company, because presumably they will still be working along with their families. And that leaves us with the 600 gold price, providing there's work for us at the end of it. And you see her glance over at Amina, and Amina kind of just nods.
I think our company would be as happy as yours to have the people working there in the future not be as disarrayed as they would be if we went in there and razed everything to the ground.
She says, you also understand, though, that this will be much harder.
Well for us.
You need to find someone who can manage the plantation, someone who knows the business of it, somebody who can take control. This will be much harder than simply burning all the buildings.
I was actually hoping to use an earthquake. Tarin says that.
She says, if you pay me the
That's
600
gold
now...
Eldove's tiny earthquake.
She She says, if you pay the 600 now, my company will march to the location that I described to you yesterday, and we'll wait there for further orders. She says, how does that sound?
Seems fair to me.
Yeah.
It's up to you, Captain.
I have no problem with that.
To be fair, you guys just agreed to leave the town as standing as is, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what she's saying is pay me the 600 now, and then the rest of the payment will be determined by whether or not there is a town standing.
Yeah.
If there's not, she's going to expect a piece of the plunder plus all the girl children that you quote-unquote liberate. If there
I
is,
think-
and she can be placed in the gatehouse again, that's worth a lot more to her.
I think if there's not a town standing, there's probably not going to be much left to them to pay.
Most likely.
And the other thing is that she waived any plunder if we destroyed the town, but just because we destroyed the town, didn't we mean left the Silver Eye standing, so we'd still get anything the Silver Eye had.
So do you pay her?
I don't have 600 on me. I have 6 gold. What about you, Eldove?
He's like, you're like a bail bondsman, right? I can pay you 10%.
Can you not? Can we take that out of party loot?
Oh, I'm not there.
Yeah, I mean, I have the money on me to pay her, and then I'm going to take it back for party loot.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to basically just get the contract signed.
Yeah, okay.
So I tell you what, I'll remove 600 gold from the party loot,
That's fine.
and we'll just say that's what happened.
Okay.
Well, remove it from your character sheet now, because you're not in the position to take anything out of the party loot right now. You're not at the inn, or you're not on the boat. So take it off your character sheet
Okay.
for now, because I don't know what else you guys are going to be negotiating with the meager funds that you have access to.
And Brick Road is hoping that you're going to forget.
I step outside for 15 minutes, I teleport to the inn and grab 600 gold and come back.
Attaboy. Okay, so you all have hired the Sanguine Serpents. What they're going to do is march to a location north of the village and await further instructions. They're not going to be able to engage the Silver Eye toe-to-toe. What they can do is tarry the edges. They can bring down their scouts. They can try to dwindle their numbers a little bit. If they have to march into the village in a full-scale assault, they'll probably get slaughtered.
My real
Gotcha.
hope is that they can, since it sounds like sometimes these other 2 companies break off of the village, I think the best thing to have them doing would be trying to subtly scout, and then we can go in when there's only 2 companies there, or maybe even only 1 in the village itself.
Okay, well, then
Take the
what,
other ones out in the field, maybe.
what we'll say then is if you leave instructions, what the daughter can do is scout the lands surrounding the Eudach's village for their movements and give you access
Yep.
to that information.
Yep, that's what I want. I want
Fair
to
enough.
know who's in there at any given time.
Are you guys coming back to the camp? Now, I don't know why Zook wouldn't have been in this meeting.
He could have
for
been
what
there.
it's worth.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I don't. Eldove at one point said Zook's not there. I'm like, am I not? But anywho, but you guys gonna come
Also,
back?
Eldove
and-
recommends watching the people who are moving around, like the people who are observing their movements, seeing if any of the individual troops are doing anything out of place. Like, are they all wearing a specific type of medallion?
Okay.
Are they all stopping in a specific place and then saying some magic words? Like, we want to know what kind of protections we can use to get past.
The daughter has some of that information already, because she's met the Silver Eye in the fields on a couple of occasions. Once when she was marching a merchant caravan much closer to the Eudach's village. What's his name? I have it here. I have it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I know what it is. Palasum, Horse Eater. The company that he controls fell on them twice, and both times he had magicians in his employ that created walls of impenetrable fog that her soldiers were not able to see through. She doesn't know what other powers they have, but she definitely knows they have that one. They use that to sow confusion amongst the mercenaries and amongst the caravan to go in, rout them, take what they could, and get away. In neither case were both the caravan and the company destroyed. Horse Eater never left them completely in devastation, but they were unable to meet their company on the field either time because of those magicians.
That's definitely something we can take care of.
Yes. She has never met Sabit Emptyheart's company on the field, nor has she met the main company, which is under the control of Silver Eye himself.
You want to go talk to these merchants and see if there's a reward for turning into their goods?
Oh, well, this was months and months ago.
Okay.
You guys, let's huddle back again and see, because
I think the reward is we get their goods.
I think so. Zook wants to know now that you guys made that deal. Is the plan to call in this favor and see if we can get? Going to leave the village, or are we going to say nerds to that and still try to liberate the slaves? Like, sounds like you're leaning towards just letting the village still be here under new management.
Tarin is completely fine with that, with just leaving someone in control who won't be cruel to the slaves for now.
All right. Well, in that case, we need to find this guy. We should find this guy, this contact that I was given.
And here's the other thing that you could probably use in your conversation with her. We're now going to attack the place with the Silver Serpents, and it's already in her best interest to give us whatever help we can, because if the Silver Serpents die and we don't take the village, she has nothing.
Not necessarily, because she's not technically a member of the Serpents. She's a member of the Guild of Shadows.
But she's all freaked out that she spent all this time on this disguise and it's going to go away.
She loses, but like she'll be long gone before the battle turns that sour.
Right, I'm not saying she's going to die. I'm saying that everything she wanted is gone.
If she wants to keep her investment in this land, she'll. I mean, honestly, I have no problem with letting her. I mean, if she wants to be able to have control, have partial control of this land, that's what the Silver Serpents want. So.
You guys are getting. There's the Silver Eye and there's the Sanguine Serpents. You're getting them mixed up.
Sorry, Sanguine Serpents.
Okay.
So the Silver Monkeys.
Purple Dishwasher.
Okay.
Monkeys.
So
Bonzi Bundy.
That night, what do you tell Amina? Do you tell her she has a deal? She tells you she kept up her half of it. She talked the daughter into wanting control of that gatehouse again.
Right, and that actually works for us because I don't know. I kind of don't want to. I was thinking about it, and I kind of don't want to leave a power vacuum out here anyhow. Even if we are taking the current slaves, it will just be some other slavers up here.
Very likely, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd rather have it be. Now, we haven't made contact with Sock Eudach or whatever the person's name was.
Did you tell the rest of us about that?
I told you about that. Yeah, I told you.
You actually did mention it.
Okay.
He mentioned you had a contact, but you didn't tell him his name or anything. But you may have forgotten to, because you also forgot to mention the magic items.
It's entirely possible. I'm really bad at this.
Well, I think at that point, the next thing I would do would be another dream to book.
To who?
Poem.
To book.
Book.
Oh, God, why do I keep calling her book?
I don't know.
To poem? Okay. So that night, Zook, we're gonna fast forward to your dream with Amina. Do you agree? Do you guys have a deal? Do you want her to call in those favors? Okay.
We have a deal.
And then what she wants in return, just to be clear, is first pick of the magic items that you guys take, and she wants a return on her investment. So now you guys, as far as Amina's concerned, you guys no longer have the choice of destroying the town or replacing management. Because to Amina, she definitely wants to replace the management.
I mean, that's what Tarin said.
Why does she want?
That's what we agreed to, right?
Yeah. Well,
Why does she want
that's
the first
agreement.
pick of magic item?
Why would
Because
she
she's
want?
a rogue. She can sell them or use them.
Yeah, she can.
That's
she can
what
use any
Tarin
magic
would
items.
have. That's what Tarin would have asked for. That's what he did ask for when we attacked that wizard tower.
It is.
Hmm.
Okay, so
now I'm going to ask her when she says first pick of magic items. For clarification, do you mean anything you want you get, or you're just going to take the first few that you want? Like,
you're asking her this?
I am asking her this. I want a clarification on what first pick of magic items means to her.
She says the Silver Eye has several powerful magic items, some of which I only know by rumor. She says, and God knows what the Eudachs have squirreled away and where. She says, what I want is for you to bring me a report of what these items are and what they can do, and I will tell you which one I want, and then you will deliver it to me. She says, don't invite me to a table where they're all laid out and ask me to take my pick. I know that you have wizards in your company who can identify them. I want to know what they do, and then I want to make an informed decision.
How many of these items are you wanting to take?
Just one.
Just one?
One is enough. Are you offering me more? I'll take more.
No. Just one.
She says, I'll tell you which one I would take if you were offering them to me right now.
Fair enough.
With the
This will
understanding that I don't know what else they have. Do you know why Silver Eye is called Silver Eye?
I've heard that the leader, in fact, has a silver eye.
He does.
Do you mean to pluck it from him?
I do.
And what does the silver eye supposedly do?
A lot.
It's the Eye of Vecna.
It is not the Eye of Vecna, and fuck you for even suggesting that. Perhaps the silver eye that Silver Eye wears in his silver eye socket is the most powerful magic item they have, or maybe it's not. But I covet that item dearly, and you would too if you know what it did.
She's aware that I'm going to cast Identify on everything we find, right?
She's
she specifically
she's
told
counting
us.
on it.
She's
now.
counting on it.
She wants a report.
Then why won't she just tell Zook what
Yeah.
the magic eye
You might as well tell us what you think it does, because we're going to identify it.
I know you will.
Before I agree to give you first pick, I need to know what it is that you're seeking.
I
And
told you.
I'll even tell you why. We're looking for means of interplanar travel. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm going to say yes, because I don't want to appear ignorant in front of you. Because I don't know whether you're knowledgeable or crazy.
Fair enough. We'll give you first pick of magic items with the caveat that if there's something in there that enables interplanar travel, that is off the table.
Since I don't know what interplanar travel is, I don't know why I'd want an item that facilitates it.
All right, then we have a deal. One item, first pick of magic items, interplanar travel is off the table.
And she agrees.
Sorry, magic users, I may have just done something dumb, but
Eldove's chaotic good. If he finds something in there that makes dragon-blooded sorcerers badass, he's going to take it.
oh
And
no,
you
I
can
have,
go
I
fuck
have no
yourself.
doubt that you will pocket it and fuck her over and fuck me over if you have to. Because she's
So-
asking for a report. So
Tarin, you're going to contact Poem.
Yep.
And what do you tell her that you didn't already tell her?
I'll level with her at this point. I'll tell her that we're planning on basically doing what we can to remove all of the Eudachs from power, and that I could actually use some information because I got the name of apparently a long disappeared Eudach who I've been told would be good to set up in their place.
She says that would be Zelia's brother, Yazik.
Yes.
Do you know where Yazik is?
I'm sorry, did she ask, do I know?
Yeah, she asks you. She's asking, do you know where Yazik is?
No, that's part of what I'm hoping to discuss with you if you have any information for me.
I don't. Neither does Zelia. He ran away many years ago with a slave girl. Very similar to what Zelia did, except I'm not a slave. I don't understand what it is you're saying you're going to do.
Remove her parents and her brother from power.
Why?
Because they're cruel. Surely you've seen that.
I have, but I've also know the rest of the Eudachs. Says, who do you think you'll replace him with that will be less cruel? Rolxes?
That was my initial thought.
She says,
Or apparently this brother of Zelia's, if I can find him.
Says, what does Rolxes say about this?
Haven't had a chance to talk to him yet.
You did talk to him, actually.
Well, she wasn't really coherent.
Do you tell her that, is my question.
Yeah.
You just... Okay, well, what do you tell her?
I tried to speak to him the same way we're speaking right now. It seemed like he had been locked up for a while. I'm not sure. He doesn't seem entirely coherent. I'm hoping I can help him too.
What do you mean, locked up?
Underground or in the guardhouse. He didn't know enough to tell me.
Yaemon lock him there.
What makes you say that?
Because they hate each other. Because Rolxes was conspiring to free slaves as soon as he had the opportunity to do so. Because... And she shrugs. They hate each other.
Do you think if I were to put him in control of the plantation, it would help everyone, or would he simply try to throw them all out to the desert to die?
I didn't know Rolxes had been apprehended. Are you sure he's alive?
Yes, this spell doesn't work on the dead. Again, he wasn't entirely coherent. Seems like he might have been tortured or worse.
She says, I'm not sure what I can help with. I mean, you know what my abilities are. They're relatively limited. I don't command any troops. And I can't tell this to Zelia because she will be beside herself with grief.
Information? Anything we can use to get into the compound, to move about quietly, any weaknesses, any hidden passages?
She shrugs and says, I don't even know who's controlling the compound now. I don't even know if the Eudachs are still in charge. Yaemon and Roxy's hated each other, but I can't imagine he would have ever locked him up. He would have had no cause to. If he had, he would have done it long ago. So what is Yaemon's situation?
I haven't tried contacting Yaemon.
What do you want me to tell Zelia?
I think you're a better judge of that than I am.
Very well.
In a few weeks, I'm sure I can give you the truth. At this point, I'm still somewhat in the dark myself. Again, I was hoping any information you could give me from your time on the farm might be useful.
I've never met Yazik. If you speak to someone who knows him well, you'll be able to contact him via sending, won't you?
Does that actually work? Out of character?
It might not. Sending specifies that you can talk to someone you're familiar with, but familiar with is very vague.
I could try it. I've never done it before.
She says one of the Eudach twins was sent to Kiska to study magic. That's your best bet.
Alright, thank you. Is there anything you need me to do? Anything I can help with?
A good night's sleep would be good at this point. She's saying stop bugging her in her dream.
Dreams are fine. It's 8 hours of subjective time.
Alright, so who's next on the list?
What do you mean?
You guys had a list of people you were going to contact to try to get this rolling. You mentioned Iron Glove. And then Poem just asked you to contact somebody else. Or are you ready to go right now?
That's all Tarin. Tarin, it's up to you.
Iron Glove, I guess. Sorry, I didn't realize it was all me.
Like, we're not going to be fun. I'm not contacting anyone in their dreams.
Well, I can send anybody.
Iron Glove wants to meet face to face.
Okay.
When you send her, she gives you the directions to yet another little oasis town. And she's interested in meeting face to face. She's a dwarf. She's distrustful of this magic. She absolutely does not want you to talk to her in a dream.
Okay. Should we do a dream or a sending to either of the Eudach twins and then try and find this lost brother? Or should we deal with that after we've dealt with the plantation?
Do any of us know anything about the Eudach twins?
Oh, yeah.
Orphan ever told us anything about them?
Yes, and several of you met them.
No, yeah, she was on my ship. The girl was on my ship.
Yeah, Orphan's had contact with both the twins.
So we know enough to know that she's been studying under a crazy demon wizard for like the last year or so.
Yeah, I'd probably contact the board
Not
first.
super sure we want her running this farm.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking her, but they're the ones who might be able to help me do ascending. Again, we can look for this other Eudach after we take out the Silver Eye, maybe.
Okay, so you meet up with Iron Glove. Who's going to the meet?
Any reason to think we shouldn't all?
There's probably a lot of reasons you shouldn't all go, because it's traveling across a very dangerous desert, or you have to kill a bunch of gnolls and things.
Eldove's gonna come because the last time we met up, I saved her fucking life. So
Really likes Iron Gloves. They talked a lot, so they're gonna go. She's gonna go.
And Iron Glove greets you all warmly. This is my friends. This is what have you been up to this past year? What have been the great adventures of the Adric's Honor? I'm sure there's lots to share.
I think we'll actually just spend some time talking to her about her adventures. It's nice to actually have a friendly face for once.
Well, when you last left her, she departed your ship on one of the Isles of Brax.
Yep.
After she healed, after she recovered from the battle. And she got another ship back to Romneus to continue to pursue her bounty. She tells you that the bounty has become impossible to collect. She was trying to bring Kyle to justice. This was the Tiefling who had long ago killed the Tetlataean noble. She said she expended considerable resources to try to plant a spy at the Eudach's mug in the village, with the aid of a friendly rogue that she met along the road. And the idea was to get the spy into the village, to find out what was happening, to report back, and then to formulate a plan to sneak in, get Kyle, and get out. She didn't want to show her face in the village herself because she figured that the Eudachs had a kill on sight ordered for her. Here's what she learned.
Kyle is still in the inn?
Yes. What they did was, she and this rogue formulated a plan. She planted to spy at the mug. The spy learned that Kyle was trying to escape himself. The Silver Eye has taken control of the plantation. The Eudachs themselves are prisoners in their own manner. Kyle and his wife Relipses were left in charge of the inn under heavy guard. Kyle was ready to cut his losses and run, be done with his family, and this rogue was making him believe that he was going to help him out. Really, the rogue was going to help him out and immediately sell him over to Ironglove.
Right.
The night of the escape, however, something happened. Ironglove's not sure what. She saw, from her vantage point high up on a hill, she saw a blast of fire erupt from the position where Kyle was supposed to be escaping from. After an hour or two, she went down to investigate, and she found the rogue laying amidst his own charred remains. And there was no sign of Kyle. She received news from travelers through the village thereafter that Kyle was still at the mug. After that, she decided to cut her losses and hunt bounty elsewhere.
Could you still collect that bounty if you could manage to get to him?
She said she absolutely could. Why, are you planning to go in there?
That's the plan.
Exactly what I wanted to hear. And she orders a round of ale for all of you.
I love this person.
I'll warn you, we might need to be both subtle and rely fairly heavily on magic ourselves on the way in.
She says, and I'm only one axe myself. But it's yours if you need it.
Do you happen to have contacts, friends, a company that you could help us with? Or are you purely a solo act these days still?
No, she doesn't have a company. She's just herself.
The dwarfish friends. I was hoping to have a company of dwarves with axe.
He just wants a dwarf army. It's fine. We
I want a
understand.
dwarf
we all
army.
want the same
That
thing.
wouldn't be impossible. You couldn't negotiate it through Ironglove, and it would be very, very, very difficult. First of all, there's no dwarves in this area of the world.
I know.
So, it's not impossible, but only just.
Like, I imagine if we go talk to the dwarves to try to get them to fight this war, they'll say, yeah, sure, just help us fight these mind flayers first.
So the only thing I can think of left, is there anything else on you guys' list? You guys' god. Is there anything else on the rest of your lists?
Unless we want to call in any of our people from the ship or anything, but I just figured I'd just get them killed at this point.
I mean, the only other person I was considering was Benepe, but...
I mean, if Benepe hears about this attack, he's in. But
Yeah,
so far, nobody's discussed any of this on the ship, so he's none the wiser.
If we tell Benepe, he's just going to get himself killed, and we're going to feel bad.
That
Yeah.
is entirely possible.
It's what he would want, though.
It is, but...
Looking down my, long
Well,
list of notes.
yeah, you know what? Honestly, Eldove probably wouldn't feel too bad if this dude died fighting for what he believes in. Eldove would be like, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Do we have any other favors we can call in?
Nobody's tried contacting the twins yet.
Now,
Should that be Orphan, or do you guys still want me to do it?
so, what are the odds that the twins could bring us some crazy necromancer magic?
What are the odds that the twins would bring us some crazy necromancer object because they've been learning from a crazy necromancer?
What are the odds that the twins will suddenly appear, teleport in, and kill all of us?
Only Nanis was studying under the Warlock. Her brother
Yeah,
Amshun
Warlock.
continued to study as a wizard. He did not agree that studying under the demonology curriculum was appropriate.
My fear with the twins is they might rat us out, but it sounds like there aren't many Eudachs in power left to rat us out too, but their mail might be getting intercepted.
Well, wait, the Eudachs aren't in power at all, right? So
Yeah.
the twins would want to help us if they gave a shit about Roxy's who they like.
They do
Right.
like their uncle quite a bit.
Well, again, I think the best thing to do would be cast Sending on Orphan, but that's up to her. Or not Sending, Dream. I can do it if she doesn't want to.
You can do that?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
I can. I have to have met the person, but I can touch anyone to use as a messenger.
Oh, okay.
So
Do you
the
want to
plan?
meet up with the
Uh,
Nanis?
probably Tarin should do it.
Which one, Nanis or what was the other? What was the boy's name?
Amshun.
I'm sure.
I think I'll start with Amshun.
Okay, so you're going to contact him over Dream?
Yep.
And he looks very bewildered to even see you.
I don't know if you remember me. My name is Tarin.
I know who you are.
Do you know how I'm talking to you right now? Have you gotten that far in your training?
He's unaware of
Wizard
the spell.
school.
I was.
Why are you contacting me? What is this about?
It's about your family. Have you spoken to your uncle recently?
No. My uncle had his eyes torn out by gutless mercenaries and thrown into a dungeon.
Right. I'm
No
trying
thanks to you.
to do something about that.
Mhm.
He was always the cheerful one of the two. What do I say here? Look, I am trying to help. Is there any way you could help me get in contact with... What was the lost one's name? The one who ran away with the slave girl?
Yazik.
Yazik. And that's his older brother?
Yes. Amshun is the youngest.
Right. Your older brother, Yazik.
He says, very shortly after the commotion you caused in my family's plantation, my sister and I received letters in Kiska recalling us home. And I went, and she didn't. And so now I'm here with the rest of them in the manor house right now. Don't you think if I could have done something, I would have done it by now?
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Why are you
Well-
trying to contact Yazik? None of us have spoken to him in years. I was 3 or 4 years old last time anybody had seen him.
We're just looking to find anyone who has any information before we try and rescue you.
What information
Anything
do
at
you
all.
think Yazik has?
I don't know. He was you were 3 or 4. I mean, who knows what he knew back in his day?
I'm sorry, I
Secret passages.
don't know exactly what it is you're intending to do.
Go in there and take out the Silver Eye.
And do what with my father?
Haven't really decided yet. That depends in part on him.
Yazik will never come back as long as my father's here. I have no great love for my father myself, but blood is thicker.
Is there anything else I should know?
I think Yazik is dead.
Was that?
Because there's been no contact with him for years. He never made any effort to contact my sister and I the whole time we were studying in Kiska. He says if I had the means, I would attempt descending to him, but I don't have the components.
Could you describe him for me? I might be able to try.
You would know the components for sending, because you know
No,
the
I mean
spell.
describe the Yazik so I could try sending to him.
Yazik?
Yeah.
And he gives like a physical description of Yazik, but he's someone that you've never spoken to.
Yeah.
He says, where are you? Where are you at? How close are you to the village?
I've lost track over all this movement over the desert, and in all honesty, distances aren't generally very relevant, I've found.
He says, I don't understand why you're going through such trouble to do what you're doing. Why do you care about the Silver Eye? Why do you care about us?
Honestly, I think we made some mistakes the last time we were there and trying their best to make up for it.
Can you send someone in the village as, I don't know, in disguise? Can you get someone into the mug?
Probably. Haven't tried it yet, but I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. At least one person had made it in, though they also got incinerated recently.
I have the components listed down under Amshu's entry on this sheet, but now I can't find it. I do believe it's copper wire, am I correct?
Yeah, it sounds
It's
right.
copper wire.
He says if you can sneak him in the components, get it into the village, and get it into his hands, he can cast Ascending to Yazik. And then facilitate a meeting between the two of you.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
I don't know if he will be able to help. I know he's written our family off long ago, gave up the name. Can you do me one thing?
What's that?
Don't bring my sister into this, Nanis. I'm afraid for what she would do.
Haven't talked to her yet. What specifically makes you afraid?
She does.
Understandable.
And Amsoon looks very troubled, very depressed the whole time you're talking to him.
Yo, that's not that different than usual with this kid.
Do you ask him about anything else going on in the plantation? I mean, you ask him a little bit about secret passages and things. He doesn't know anything about that. The information you get from him, being on the inside, is that the mug is still running. The store has been seized by the Silver Eye. Mithnaris was the one who was being very aggravating towards Benipe when he was in charge of the store. She's been placed in charge of the store now. Amshun tells you that his father will not allow Miznerith back in the house because Miznerith seems to have thrown in with the Silver Eye. She seems to have switched sides entirely.
Oh, I'm going to kill the shit out of her. It's going to be great.
I remember a lot of you being very, very aggravated at Miznerith, yes. With good reason. She is a bitch. He tells you that Chimere is alive, but not in good shape. He and Roxys fought against the Silver Eye the night that the mercenaries tried to take over. And where Roxys was wounded almost right away. Chimere went to Roxys' side to fight the mercenaries off and drag him to safety, and then he was wounded. The Silver Eye took both of their eyes out. Both of them are blind. In addition, Chimere's been hobbled. They broke his legs. They snapped his feet off at the ankles, essentially. So Chimere is no longer in charge of the fields, obviously. It was in pleading for Chimere's life that Yaemon agreed to turn over control of the plantation to the Silver Eye.
And what's up with Yaemon and his wife right now?
Their Silver Eye, he says, has taken the main manor house for himself. The rest of the Eudachs were moved across the way into... Here, I'll actually tab it on the map here, because I'm not sure if anybody remembers. Chimere and his wife used to live in this house. The rest of them lived in the big house here. The Silver Eye has taken the main manor house. The rest of them moved into the smaller house across the way. And there are guards posted all the time.
Okay.
He says they are free to move about the village as long as they agree to move with one of their guards.
And do you know anything of the magic the Silver Eye are using? Do they have anyone who can see invisibility? Do they have anyone who can detect thoughts?
He says he's not sure about thoughts. He says, but they have mages. He's not sure how many. Not more than 10.
Okay.
He says, and they do have the means to detect invisibility. He says the patrols that are sent out onto the streets with the guards, a mage always accompanies them, and they're always looking. He says there's some number of snipers that they're posted on the roofs around town. Very good shots with longbows. Very deadly. He says there's an upside that you haven't considered. He says the slaves are being much better treated these days.
Huh.
Wait. What?
Because Chymir's not the one in charge of the slaves anymore.
Chymir's no longer in charge of the field.
Why do we care about this village?
He says if you could sneak in some copper wire, he gives you the name of a slave that works at the mug. Pass it off to her, and it'll make its way to me, and then I'll contact you as soon as I can regarding Yazik. But promise me that you don't bring Denise into this.
All right, no, if you're that afraid of her, I'm not going to. And honestly, we probably have to go back to Kiska and deal with something along that her, and Nalk Artar, and I hope not her next.
I'll talk to you more about that. What's going on in the School of Senses once we meet face to face.
All right, good luck. I'll see what I can do about getting someone in there.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do in way of preparation?
So, Destil, is under Tarin's character description,
Yeah.
is comforting like the first word or the second?
No, Tarin has absolutely no ability to comfort people. I think we pretty much noticed this, right? Like someone asks if he's here to assassinate him, and Tarin says, "I haven't decided yet. Come on."
So what's the plan for getting copper wire into the village?
We have an army of rogues, right?
You do. They're at your disposal. Or will be as soon as you give the word.
I think Zook's known, but some anonymous other rogue. Does that sound good to you, Zook?
Yeah, I suppose we can. I can use dreams to contact Amina, or just sending to contact her to let her know let her know what we need, and see if she can facilitate that as part of our prep work.
Yep, and you can totally facilitate that because you made that deal with Amina. Otherwise, Zook was going to have to go in and make a lot of rolls.
Yeah, and Zook is known, so Zook would be a bad person to go send in there. So yeah, as a matter of fact, if we can do that immediately, we can send a sending to her. That basically says, need to get copper wire to this person
In the mug.
without being spotted.
Reply
25 words or less.
And that happens. It takes a couple of days. The rogue gets in and out, and eventually you do get word back from Amshun. He gives you the name of a village. Haladavar. Haladavar is yet another small oasis village in the Sand Elf territory where Redemption and his slave girl have gone to ground.
Are Sand Elves hostile
No.
towards
Well,
outsiders?
they can be, but no more so than any other elves.
Okay.
As long as you don't go in... Because keep in mind, they have an official guild in Kiska.
Yeah.
And probably in the other city-states as well.
I'm still hung up
Eldove being a sand elf.
I'm still hung up on the fact that the slaves are being treated better. How is that possible?
Because the assholes aren't
How
in
is
charge
it
right
not
now.
possible?
Yeah, it's
Well,
almost
yeah,
like
but-
Basically anything they do would be treating them better.
Yeah, like what does that entail though?
not beating them constantly for no reason.
I mean,
Do you ask Amshun?
Do you want me to cast Ascending on you, Arik, if you're that? I mean, Tarin gets the gist of it. And
I'm just
again,
imagining
comforting-
you cast a dream on them, and he just shows up like with this look on his face and his priest robes, like, now wait, hold up, like, what do you mean better?
like, are they just beating the shit out of them less, or what? That's what that could mean. I just want to know.
So what I would secretly like to do is go talk to this guy who ran off with the slave girl and see what his vision of the town would be, because I would like it to be them to be slaves in name only and have it be more indentured servitude, because I think the Silver Serpents would still be, okay with it so long as someone's working the land and they have power there. But if these people could actually leave if they wanted to, but they just had a permanent residence there, that would be better.
So who
I think the
travels?
Silver Serpents would be happier if they weren't slaves, because Silver Serpents don't like slavery.
Sanguine
they really just want
serpents.
a plantation
Sanguine.
there. God
Silver-
damn it.
Silver Serpent.
The Silver Surfer is a terrible Fantastic Four character.
Look, this
No,
is
it
your
is Silver
problem.
Monkeys.
This is your fault for giving us so much alliteration. You should have had one of them have something other than
The Slithering Serpents would be happy because
Right.
there's.
So who travels to Helidavar
But
to
what
meet
about the
with
blue
Redemption?
Well, sounds like Tarin's going everywhere.
Duke
I'll
wants
go
to
with-
go.
I'll go with Tarin this time. Why not?
Okay, did we lose Nick, or is he just sitting on mute because his status
Sitting on
problems?
mute.
Okay,
Yeah, he's sitting on mute.
making sure we're not
Orphan.
leaving him out. Like if he still
Do you
wants-
want to go? Because that seems like something Orphan would want to do. Go meet with another Tiefling,
This
like
is
what
the-
you're all about.
Yeah, I guess I would do that. But I mean, someone else could go. I don't want to say that much.
Okay. Traveling into Sand Elf territories, and this what you would do is essentially hire yourselves on with a merchant that's traveling that direction. This is a very long overland journey, and it's a small village of mostly Sand Elves. There are there's one human and one Tiefling occupant, being Redemption, and his wife Kita, the slave girl that they ran off with. It's actually more than two because they have 3 children now. And you all roll up into his nice little life, and he's very surprised to see all of you. So how do you introduce yourselves?
Captain Tarin, you want to take the lead on this?
My name is Tarin Kazmaier. This is my crew. I'm afraid I've had some dealings with your family.
Not as many as I have, I'll wager.
No, but maybe more decisive. Would you mind if we come in and talk to you for a moment?
Would you mind leaving your swords and other weaponry outside?
No.
And he
Doing
invites
that a
you in.
lot recently.
And he has a very comfortable little home here. His wife is busy making dinner. He invites you to have a seat in his front room, and he sits down with a long pipe. And he bears the same basic description as the rest of the Eudachs, with the very short horns and no tail. But you very clearly see the resemblance. What you don't see is the life of... You don't see the hardness and the cruelness that you saw in the other Eudachs. He reminds you more of Rolxes than Chimere.
I'll just explain. I'll ask if he has any news from his home the last year or so.
He shakes his head. Says, no, none. I imagine that's why you're here.
I'm afraid things aren't good there, and I'll explain the situation to him.
As you explain the situation, and you talk about how his father hired a mercenary group, who then went on to take control of the plantation and lock them all up, you see a smile cross across his face. And when you're done explaining, he said, wait a minute, I thought you said things are less good there.
Roxy's was thrown into the dungeon and blinded.
And then the smile just melts away.
So was your older brother, who's also crippled. I think he's the older one, right? Chimere was the oldest.
Chimere's the oldest.
That guy was a dick, though.
Yazik, I think, would be third, in the birth order. They have a lot of friggin' kids. They were just popping them out over there, like they're like the Duggars. In name and deed.
Tieflings aren't going to be a minority for long.
Right. Oh god, that's horrible. His children are all 3 humans, by the way. There's not like a half Tiefling. Not that I know of. That would be horrible. They
Wouldn't
have
a
some of
half
his.
Tiefling just be a halfling?
Well, they have some of his features. They both have very, very dark hair, the way that the Eudachs do. But where the Eudachs all have like dark red hair, like the color of like dark blood, theirs is just black.
What you're telling me is if I slap one of them, they can't hellish rebuke me.
You try to slap because they can't, but he might.
He can't if I don't slap him.
So I'm going to tell him that I intend to go there, throw the mercenary company and battered corpses into the river, and I need to instill a new headmaster of the village who will actually treat everyone there with some degree of compassion.
He looks up. Who in the room right now speaks Elvish? Does everybody speak Elvish, or most of you, or any of you?
I think we all do.
Tarin
now.
actually might.
Orphan obviously
Nope.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duke
I do not.
does.
He tells his kids in Elvish to go play outside. And the kids badger him a little bit, and eventually he coaxes them all outside to go play. He closes the door behind them, pulls the blind on his window. And you see a look of concern on his wife's face as she looks in from the kitchen from time to time, stirring her pot. He says, "You're going to go back and take my father's plantation. And do what with it?"
Again, hopefully find someone who will be less cruel as a master. I already have a mercenary company willing to operate under much stronger, under a much more well-worded contract to defend the place. It's just a question of actually finding someone to run the village.
And so here you are talking to me.
We were given your name as a contact for someone who would be perhaps better suited for running the village.
He says, "I would be better suited. Quite a bit."
The implication is that you would run the land fairly,
And
treat
I
the
would.
slaves well,
And I would.
and if I can speak frankly, perhaps not even treat them as slaves, but merely let them tend the land, keep it as a plantation that works with itself.
And he looks over at his wife, who smiles at him from the kitchen, and he says, "And I would."
Then I think that, would you be willing to, so you'd be interested in this?
He says, "If I believed it were possible, I would have gone and claimed my birthright long ago. But there's 3 problems. My father, Chimere, and Relipses. They all have to die before I can take control. It's not enough to send them away. They would simply use their clout, wealth, and resources to amass whatever army they could get and march them back and take it from me. As long as the 3 of them live, I do not have a claim."
I honestly don't have a problem with your father and Chimere, and I'll look to the rest of the group, or with your father and Ellipses, and I'll kind of look to the rest of the group to see if anyone disagrees with me on this. But Chimere, from my understanding, is at this point a cripple. I would feel bad killing him in cold blood.
Don't feel bad, he deserves it.
I don't disagree.
He says, "When are you looking to launch this attack?" And at the mention of attack, at the mention of bloodshed, you see his wife in the kitchen across from you, looking very concerned. He's conversing with you in common. She understands every word. Make no mistake. She's not there, not listening. But she hasn't said anything yet.
We don't have the exact timing yet. Probably this is the last piece of the plan, as far as I know. We have a mercenary company ready to help deal with some of the mercenaries your father hired. We have as many capable fighters as we should hopefully need to deal with their heavies. At this point, it's just a question of making it happen. The last piece was finding someone to replace the leadership.
He goes over to a small desk on the other side of the table, where there's quill and parchment. And he starts writing something down. He says, "I spoke to my brother with a magic spell for the first time since he was 3 years old. He told me to be expecting your visit. He told me what it was about. He told me I might not be able to trust you. And he's now sitting at his desk writing something out on parchment. He says, "Can I trust you?"
You can trust my intentions. I mean no harm to anyone. I mean, I've been completely honest with you here.
He says, "Well, I hope you mean harm to my father, my brother, and my sister. I know this is no small thing I'm asking of you, but it's no small thing you're asking of me either."
No, I think I made a mistake the last time I was in a room with your father, not doing so.
He walks back to you and hands you the folded parchment. He says, "Go to the inn in the center of town. This will buy accommodations for you and your companions. Because I'll have your answer tomorrow morning, but I have a lot to think about." And as you take the parchment from his hand, he doesn't let go of it right away. He holds it And so you lock eyes with him. He says, "I did not take the name Redemption lightly. I always knew I would go back." And then he releases it.
This guy take a first level bard or something? Jesus Christ.
I had a feeling he'd be like that when I was told he was known now as Redemption.
Yeah, I'll thank him and head to the inn, I guess.
And you all are put up in a relatively well lit Sand Elf Inn, very comfortable. You all are fed beautifully. You all enjoy fine wine and music for the evening.
Hey, Brick,
What?
can I just roll it? I just want to roll insight real quick to see if his intentions are as pure as he's telling us. Is that okay?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't have any reason to suspect it, but let's see what the dice says. 23.
You've made a lot of dealings with a lot of people in the past couple of weeks, and a lot of them you're not sure how sturdy the ground they're on. You got the feeling that this is the sturdiest you've had so far.
Okay.
Redemption.
I don't have any reason to believe he's going to go in there and just be like, ha ha ha, now the slaves are mine, and start whipping them or anything.
No, and in fact, exactly the opposite, because he ran away with a slave girl and eloped.
Right.
And
this sounds like exactly what I'd like. This sounds like he's going to take the plantation, maybe not, and maybe not necessarily free the slaves, but definitely let them have their freedom within the plantation.
So the next morning, during breakfast, the door of the inn opens, and Redemption walks in and waves for you all to come outside for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we go up.
Mm-hmm.
He tells you, "I'm going to go with you and help you with this thing." And when you get out of the inn, in the street are standing 15 elven archers. And he tells you, "Hope you don't mind if I bring some of my friends along."
Oh, hell yes.
That's what we're going to call it for tonight.
Oh, we're going to have a war. I love it.